Hi and welcome to Beck's Bug Out Survivor, the final episode. Well, what do you know? Didn't think the day would come. Anyway, I have here Bergen, and in it is everything I have found on a car boot sale, military related, and I am going to do a loadout and show you what I got on a car boot sale. For any of my visitors here from the US, what is a car boot sale? Kind of like swap meet is the closest thing I can think would be comparable, but basically usually on the weekends there'll be a big field in which everyone pulls a car up, opens up the trunk, pulls out a trestle table, and you'll put anything you want to sell from your attic, in your basement, in your garage, and clear yourself some space in your house and make a bit of money on the side. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you can find someone who wants to clear out their surplus of military kit. This Bergen is absolutely full of surplus preps that I've collected. So we are going to have a look at these in their entirety. Some of the products in here I bought on the car boot, some I had to leave at home, but we'll go back to base to look at them closer as I talk about them. They're just maybe a bit too big or don't have the space to fit. I'm going to put my sheet down. This isn't anything surplus related. I just don't want to get all my kit too dirty. Speaking of kit, look at this. This is the PLC. It is the CS95 Bergen in MTP. This I did get on the car boot. Now I've had dozens of these over the years, literally probably dozens, and some of them I have adapted by tailoring certain pouches on, which you can do, and there's a whole tailoring series which I'm going to put in the description box, and it's going to show you how I tailor on certain pockets and everything to make this even better in my opinion, or you might just find what you have here is good enough. Anywho, let's crack on. CS95. This blends in a treat. It is multi-terrain, so it is meant to adapt into obviously multi-terrains. These I found online anywhere up to 60, 70 quid, but shop around you can get them cheaper. And this is a second short back I've had, which I got for £15, 1.5. Didn't haddle with the guy, I just give him £15, he gave me this. I did look it over before I bought it, and it's all intact, there's no tears or rips. However, it did come with two rocket pockets, but they were in DPM, a different pattern, and it just looked peculiar. There are things I would like to change, such as putting a back pad on, as well as the wider shoulder straps, canteen pocket on the front, which would take the old-fashioned style mess tins, and this is a rectangular pocket with a zip on the top. I have taken into account the fact that not many people actually want to use webbing for the water and stove and food. I've changed out to this system here on the side. Instead of a rocket pocket, I have these pouches. I usually put a flask in there, the army flask. Coming lower down is the Omni pouch, but that actually fits a jet boil quite nice, or your stove set, or your food. That just leaves the water. If you're quite insistent you're not going to use webbing, you might choose something like this on the other side of your Bergen, which is the Camelback. This is the 2-litre Camelback, and that is supported on the side there. With the addition of the larger rocket pockets, of course you can keep your water and food in there as well. The water bladder itself was a car boot find, so the bladder here is also in matching MTP. It's secured on via QR clips and straps there. You don't have to remove the sleeve just to get access to the water when you want to replenish. There's a zipper downside here, and as you can see, I have access to the actual bladder itself there. So I don't need to remove the pouch just to remove the water bladder. Okay, that cost £8. I thought it was a bargain. Again, pointless haggling when you know you're getting a good buy. This was a good buy, 15 quid. You can't go wrong if you find a Bergen anywhere for £10–15. Grab it if it's in good condition. Same with this, although I have water in here, I haven't actually cleaned it out yet, so when I get home I am going to soak it thoroughly, and I use the baby sterilisation tablets in warm water and just soak it for an hour or so, rinse it all out, and I find that gives it a good enough clean for what I want. So 2 bits of related kit from the car boot is the actual 2-litre Camelback and the CS95 Bergen in MTP. That was not a car boot find, I did buy them separately, and that just zips on. So 2 absolute bargains to kick off with straight away. Okay, I'm going to open it up, put everything on the drop cloth, and we can really rattle off through these other things here, because there is a whole year of collecting in this pack. There's also other stuff that aren't featured in this pack, which I'm going to film from base, just because I didn't really want to bring them out with me, either through space or weight or to save time. So bear with me. Just going to get everything down on drop cloth. First thing out the pack here is this here. This is a 𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏 pouch. This is in DPM, so not matching, didn't have to, I just wanted it. Didn't pay more than maybe 50p or £1 for this little bag. You can put whatever you want in. I found with it being a cylindrical shaped base like that, obviously the toddle system there, cinch toddle, it absolutely fits perfectly with my jet boil. And the yoke system here, as you can see, breathable mesh on the back, shoulder straps here, very easy to fit with runners and straps which go onto the D-loops or clip buckles of the actual platform itself. That is the bit that I got from the car boot, just this harness here, which is called a yoke. So most of the kit I have managed to match up. Is this for any kind of bug out or anything? Actually, it goes quite nice as a day carry, where all I want is water and my lunch in there with a rain jacket, in lieu of just using, say, a day sack, which isn't always necessary. So if I'm out on a little nature rambling hike, not out for the night, this is what I would use. Water, little stove, something to eat, rain jacket, done. I don't need the full backpack just for a day out. I'll show you the back. This is how it looks. That was part of a job lot. I can price these up anywhere 16–20 quid. Like I said, it's part of a job lot. It worked out pretty cheap for me because I got a few bits of kit off that guy. Now then, let's have a look at this here. Now this, I've only bought the sleeve out. This contained a cot bed for my camping. So we're going to go back to base and have a look at the cot bed that this was once in. So this is what I got. It is a camp cot, old style, not very top of the range or anything, but it works. he says, gingerly getting on it. And yeah, it's comfy enough. There's some things you're going to have to know about this first. First of all, it's not lightweight. The dimensions I've just measured from head to foot is 185 by 58 centimeters. So someone like me, 5'10", no problem getting on this with room to spare. But I'm broad-shouldered, broad-chested, and my back of my shoulders do rest on the 2 bars either side. Here's the thing, I'm a side sleeper. What I do is bring my knees up a little like that, and this is how I sleep, and it's very supportive. So this is the width. This is going to be probably better off for car camping, where you're not putting it in a pack and travelling too far for a couple of nights. So bit of luxury. It's so comfy, but it's not going to be insulated. We'll have to see if we can do something about that. It is really simple. Bit heavy, certainly wouldn't use it in a bug out bag, but for car camping, short distance, motorcycle kind of camp, that is ideal for me. Like I said, bit narrow for me if you're lying on your back, but as a side sleeper with my knees tucked up, perfect night's sleep. So this was just a test really before I buy a much more expensive camping cot bed, such as I think it's called Helinox One Light, which is quite expensive, and I don't want to throw that much money at a good bit of kit if I don't like it, so I started off with that. I also bought these here. There should be 3 of these, and these are cups just for drinking. Me, my missus, hang these up when I finish washing them up like that with the carabiners, and that is a cup to drink from. This is a very light rain jacket. It's not breathable at all. It has the PU, but it is tough as old boots, so I wouldn't want to walk with this on. But in camp, just started raining, you just want to peg out your tent. This is nice and light like that. Probably pay 50p for that, and it is from an old mate of mine who used to serve in the 2-2. Sells me bits and pieces, so I wouldn't have paid more than 50p for that nice little rain jacket there. This is the other thing. This is actually the pants section. Again, PU coated, nylon, not very breathable. I will show you the actual patch there, the label. It doesn't have the zip on the bottom here to get it on and off your boot, which is probably why it was on the car boot, because you've got to take your boots off to put it on. However, if you're on a budget and you've seen the prices of some of the waterproofs, ridiculous, 100, 120, I've seen rain jackets up to 300. And if you look at these experts, a few months later, they say they're letting in the water and they've got to reproof them. Didn't pay a lot for them. We're going to stick with rain again. This is the best thing I have found. I absolutely love these ponchos. Now, I'm not going to get it out and show it you and put it up, because I do have a sister channel called Surplus Only, where we do get this out properly and go into all the details, including the weights of it, how much it cost and things like that. I can't remember how much I paid it. I think about £5. Absolutely love this. I usually have it up in the half pyramid with my feet sticking out in a bivvy bag. Does me. Just keeps the wind off and gives me somewhere to cook, do some ablutions, things like that. I do use this in lieu of a basher. I do use that in lieu of a rain jacket. Quite a rare piece of kit. I enjoy using that. About a £5. Feel quite lucky finding that. Okay, we're going to go back to base and have a look what was in here. I can tell you right now what was in here is a little folding stool. This is light, and unlike my professional camp chair, which is on a hub, which I have to make the frame and then slot the material over, it's around about the same weight. Doesn't require any assembly. It's easy enough just to strap onto the side of any pack. Let's have a look at it. Of course, I'm not always going to be wanting to lie down when I can sit down. That's where this chair comes in. It folds out like a director's chair, so it has a back to it as well. That's too easy, isn't it? No assembly. It's light enough and probably small enough to get onto the side of your pack. Again, same kind of deal with the cot bed and the chair. Probably going to be a car camping kind of pack. Let's go back in here. Another rain jacket here. This again has been featured on the channel, surplus only, if you want all the minor details. But a lovely little MVP jacket in MTP with the waterproof zipper there. So I'm in keeping there with the pattern. Now I have tried this. It is quite breathable. These are quite expensive, brand new, around £35. I got this for about a £5 UK pounds, and I do like it and I do use it. I would even put this in a hiking pack. Doesn't have a hood, but I do somewhere actually have a waterproof MTP hat which is insulated, and I'll probably show you that on the sister channel. What else do we have here? Just grab this, £2. It is a fast response pack. You can see there is the molly webbing, the attachments there on pop studs, 2 of that can go on to a green webbing. If you do like your webbing, you can put that onto your pack. First aid, like I said, fast response, or anything you want to get to first. I just have all my spares in there of all medical stuff. All the spares, just handy to keep. £2 that. It is not particularly a quality brand or anything, but it does have the drain hole, pop studs, molly, ladder, and is in OD green. If you like OD green, which I do, I much prefer OD green, as you can see, and it goes nicely with my Bergen as well, which I use the Berg house, and that's in an OD as well. Okay, back into the pack. You will recognise these. These are the Army 3/4 length pads. The last one I had, it failed, so I found this for £2 off a young lady. About, I don't know, she must have been 15 years old. I think she was a cadet, and I thought, well, if she doesn't want it anymore, I will grab this. Unfortunately, it's egged. And I did ask her at the time, is there anything wrong with it? And I did even say, look, I have a repair kit, I can patch it, I don't care if it's got a hole in it, and I've got a spare valve, just tell me, and then I'll know to put a patch on it, or whether it needs a valve. Unfortunately, it's egged, which means when it's inflated, there's a big dome, a big bubble, like a spot. And I was kind of a bit annoyed after asking quite clearly, is there anything wrong with it? And I guess she was just desperate for the £2. But if I see her again, I will hang her from the nearest lamppost. Not really. This sack is for a pad. It is by 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏. It is a mummy pad. It's not the lightest. 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏, trusted name, mummy shape. It'll do for what I'm using it for, but it's long. It seems longer than the other one that I've got, and I forget who makes that. No, the name's eluded me, but it's longer than the other self-inflating mat I have. It's not particularly wide, like I said before. I'm a side sleeper, so width of pads doesn't really bother me. I'll probably just lie on my back while I read, and then when I get tired, I'm on my side anyway. Paid £5 UK for that. So let's have a look at what it actually looks like. But this is a foam pad. It's a self-inflating foam pad by 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏, a trusted name. Valve, not really self-inflating. And I'm going to share with you something right now that when I did use this in the bivvy on the ground, I had the worst night's camp I have ever had. I was aching, shoulders, back of my thighs, back of my calves, buttocks, neck. I was just in pain. I didn't get more than about an hour and a half sleep all night. Too uncomfortable. Now, I do own other self-inflating pads, so it's not like I'm not used to these kind of self-inflating pads. I think it's just this, but maybe on the cot bed might be all right. It's in a matching colour, and I do have a 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏 tent as well, so this might be a collaboration. Don't know how many breaths it's going to take, we'll soon find out. Although they're called self-inflating pads, they rarely are. I think it's a bit of a sales gimmick. You're going to have to give it a few breaths. Don't worry about blowing in your pad. Rumour going around, and has been for a long time, that a mould will form inside, which is not true. It's unsubstantiated, and the manufacturers of these pads say ignore that, just blow in it. And I saw a video of a guy got a pair of scissors, cut his in half after 4 or 5 years of use. There's no mould, no bacteria. So I'm going to count these breaths here. 1, and I haven't got a lot of lung capacity. I'm just getting over a chest infection. 4, but it's not to its firm. 6, pretty firm, and I can always undo the valve just a little while I'm on the pad to get it a bit softer if that's what I want. So it is the 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏 pad, and it says here Trek 3 standard. If we come along the pad here and move down, their logo is here, 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏 Trek. and come a little closer, we'll find that this is actually silicone, and it'll stop your sleeping bag from sliding. I think this setup is okay for, like I said, a car camping experience. The mat itself I wouldn't put directly on the ground because there's no comfort, and like I said, I've had other self-inflating pads and they've worked fine. It's just this, but on the cot bed I think I'm in with a chance. And on my side I don't have a problem there either. I can sleep sometimes in a recovery position, especially if I haven't got a pillow, and boy, comfortable. So if you do bring your knees up, you're on this rail. So yeah, there's compromises to this, but £4.50 for the actual cot, and I paid about £5 for the pad. So for less than a tenner, I've got a cot bed and a pad to put on it. I'm not moaning. There you go, £5. What do we have in here? Talking of webbing and talking about being OD green, this is 58 pack webbing and it is complete. It does have, I think they're double ammos, yeah, 2 double ammos that side, 2 double ammos that side. It has 2 utilities on the back, which are on the Spanish fasteners. Not everyone's cup of tea, probably why it was for sale, but the actual yoke system is a lot thicker and better than that MTP one I shown you at the beginning. Again, what would I use this for? Something like metal detecting fines or something like that would be great. But what this does have that I like is the Nexus bottle, and it is actually on a 58 belt. So even if I threw away the pouches, I would keep the 58 belt and the Nexus bottles. That has got to be £5 of anyone's money right there. Anything else? Socks, army, but God knows, half a dozen of these. The reason I got these cheap, they were all singles in the big box, so I had to find its mate. So it's pretty close to being a match. I made sure they were all the same size, about 50p a pair. Parade socks usually black, operational usually green. But that is about me done, other than finally this, which is the old style camo with the mirror and the 3 colours there. 50p. God knows how much they are. I'll have to pop it on screen here to see how much these are on an auction site, but for me 50p, grabbed it. Okay, let's have a look at everything here laid out and I'll show you some of the best pieces. So my top star buy would have been the poncho here for £5, 58 pack. Just one little thing extra is probably a smog. I have a few actually. One final thing to show you here is this. No, it's not the hammock cocoon. Neither is it the pad on the inside. But the hammock itself. And for that, I'm just going to have to disconnect this. Let's see if I can pull this back and show you. Now, as far as I know, or I can tell, this is the Highlander Crusader hammock, which has the bug net minus the elastic. Didn't come with that. So I've got to find myself some elastic and get a sheepskin in that, I think. and sleeping bag, nice and warm in that. Side pocket there. It looks very much like the Highlander. Now the Highlander cost online right now, if you get one, about 79 quid. I got this for 3 quid. The guy didn't know what it was. He was saying, I think it's a mosquito net for your tent. And as soon as I saw the suspension down there with the continuous loop, which is a webbing, and a couple of carabiners, I knew what it was. 3 quid. So that is 80 quid's worth of hammock for 3. I pretty much have everything I want. I pretty much have everything I'm looking for. And a weird thing, sometimes if I'm thinking of something, I would like one of these. I wonder if one of these will turn up, and I think it. Invariably, I find it. It's the strangest experience, and I was telling my missus, I don't know how that works. I think it, and that very same day, I find it. Not always, but I'm going to say 9 out of 10 times that has actually happened. Maybe it makes me more conscious to look out for it. I don't know, but it is spooky. But thanks for joining me over the past 12 years. You will see me either on surplus only or bex-treks, which is purely camping related, and the other is purely kit related for the British Army. So you can see me on other channels, but for this channel it is closed. Until next time, take good care of yourself, and I will see you out there. For the last time, happy trails.